Right, let's move on to this is the one, guys. This is the one. Come on now. I have nothing to base any kind of confidence on apart from the fact that maybe it's our turn. Now, depending on the generation you're from, you might be a little bit older. 1970 might have been where the pain was created. Or if you're a little bit younger, 1990 might be where the pain was created. If you're the age of myself and Hugh, 1996 might be the age that the pain was created. Or if you're even younger, congratulations to you, it might be 2010 that the pain was created. England will be playing Germany in the round of 16, Hugh. Can you tell I'm excited? And also, please don't break my dreams in the next 5 minutes. How are you feeling about this game?
My friend, born and raised in Wembley, 11 years old, Euro 96, you know, the height of your love and your passion, you know, for football. You know, these are your heroes, and I'm there bawling my eyes out, crying my eyes out deep into the night after that game. Paul Gascoigne at the back post just misses what would have been a winner. And then Gareth Southgate, now the England manager. What a chance of redemption for him, missing a penalty, of course, in the shootout. Moller stepping up and putting the Germans through. It was a great tournament, though. It was a great time, you know, to be an England football fan. Hosting a competition always is. And now, of course, England have that home advantage at Wembley. There'll be 45,000 fans there. I wonder how much that will make a difference on the evening, because I think these two teams are very, very closely matched. There's a lot of talent in both of the sides. I'm not going to be too down on England, except to say I think they've been one of the most boring big nations in the competition so far. I don't think you can argue with that. But they haven't conceded a goal as yet. That's massive. I think that's going to be their way of going through this tournament. Raheem Sterling, a player who has had doubt over his form. He's been the talisman so far, scoring both of their goals. But I just don't see that England have that rhythm. And I spoke about it with Belgium a few moments ago. You know, Belgium have built that rhythm. Okay, they haven't played the greatest sides, but they've already got up to a pace. Italy, who you know I really like in this competition, they have already got up to a pace with the way and rhythm that they play. England haven't yet found that. They haven't found their starting lineup yet. And this is what we spoke about before the competition. Their best 11 they haven't yet found. And many people think Gareth Southgate will now revert to something I was begging for ages. As you know, 5 at the back, 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it, a 3-4-3, you know, wing backs. That's what England, I think, will be desperate for in this competition. Germany play those wing backs. They had great success, of course, against Portugal using those wing backs. Will it be the same again? Because it wasn't quite there for them against Hungary. I have to say, they didn't really create those chances that they did in their previous game. And they ended up, during the course of the match, going to a 4-2-3-1. Their plan B didn't work great either. So England will watch the video and think, we can definitely get at them, but which of those two formations will they play? And that's going to be really interesting as well. For me, I think I'd go with more defenders. I would play those wing backs. I would just start bombarding the ball into the box. But there, of course, is the option of playing on the counter attack with speed, because we know the Germany defense is very, very sluggish. So that's going to be the quandary for Gareth Southgate. What would you do?
I think what's the real problem is, like, sometimes it's nice to have options. I think like we've almost got too many options. And I think with Germany, I think you do know how they're going to play. They are going to play 3-4-3. They're certainly going to start that way. So for us, it's difficult. You can match them. You could match them. And I don't hate that idea, because I think what Southgate, you know, generally wants to do is stop the opposition, you know, and that's why we haven't conceded a goal up until now. And again, one thing I can guarantee is that I think Germany will have more of the ball, and this will be incredibly, incredibly tense. Now, that's not the worst thing for England, because, you know, the likes of Cruz and Gundogan having the ball is one thing, but if they can do anything with it is another thing. Against France, they had the ball a lot, but they weren't able to do too much. So the problem, as you say, is the England side is like, what is he going to do? Because he's not played 3 at the back as of yet. If he's brave enough to do it, then so be it. And we have seen that a few times. I guess the problem is when I put together my 3-4-3, is the amount of attacking players you have to miss out on. France played 4 at the back. France did play 4 at the back and were able to kind of stop them and defend deep. But I think the important player, and I remember you saying it when we spoke about it, it was a great point, was Griezmann. And Griezmann has struggled a little bit offensively. He hasn't got that same backboard as he normally has in Giroud. He's got Benzema who's looking to do something a bit different. And I think that's why you've seen a bit less from him going forward and a little bit more from Pogba. But what you did see from Griezmann in that game against the Germans was his work rate, and the tackles, which again, you're not really talking about a lot of the time. So when I was trying to put together my team, I saw kind of, I went into the spirit of Southgate and I thought, what's he going to do? I think he might stick with a back four, which I think will concern people. And I wouldn't be surprised if you disagree with me on this. But the reason I say that is because I feel like he still needs to get more attacking players on the pitch. I think he wants to get 4 attacking players on the pitch. And so be it Mount or Grealish, that's a discussion to have. Sterling, I think, is definitely going to play. Kane's definitely going to play. And then on the right-hand side, bit of a strange one, but thinking about Griezmann and what he did and the work rate that he provided, I would play Saka over Foden. I really would, because I thought he was fantastic in terms of when he got the ball, he was able to turn and run past players without, and it was his decision. There's not much they could do about it. You got a midfield too that I think you can run through and get past. I thought the movement of the forward players was good, but also Saka, I think you might get a little bit more defensively in terms of the shape that he can, play, because I think he's got that intelligence just because he's played left back, he's played, right midfield, he's played down to that box-to-box role, he's played right wing, he's played all those different positions. So it would be a massively brave call. It would be slightly defensive, but I would play Saka in this game. What do you think? Saka or Foden?
Absolutely no way. I would say Saka. Absolutely no way. Look, he showed in the last game what a great talent he is. I agree with you. I think Gareth Southgate is a man that's going to try and stick to his principles so far. I was saying in the warm-up games, you've got to try 3-4-3. It's a system England had played in the qualifiers. He didn't do that in the warm-up games. He hasn't played that formation in any of the group games. Why is he going to play it now? I think he's going to say 4-2-3-1 is the way that we're going to beat Germany, and we're going to play on the counter-attack, because another thing I agree with you on, Germany are going to have more of the ball. So how do we hurt them? Well, some of England's best performances over the last couple of years, they've played on the counter-attack. We know what great speed they have. For me, Phil Foden at Manchester City has shown that what you really would include him for, and I think I'd put him on that right-hand side, is that weight of ball, that ability to thread the eye of a needle, that awareness to bring other players in. He plays in a team that has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of passes per game. And I think in terms of those few opportunities that we get on the transition, we need someone that's going to make the right decision with the ball in terms of passing through to whether it's Harry Kane, whether it's Raheem Sterling, because we might not have too many of those opportunities. And I don't think Phil Foden has played great so far in the Euros. And I think because he has so much to prove, I would put him in there. There is quality there. We know what he can do. And I think this game suits him more than it does Bukayo Saka. Yeah, a lot of people would say, well, if you're going to play on the counter-attack, Saka's speed and his ability to drive and be direct at the heart of the opposition defence means that you would include him. Look, we know what a great squad England have. This is no slight on Bukayo Saka. I'm just thinking in transition, when we don't have maybe 2 great passers in central midfield, we'll probably have 2 holders. Phillips isn't bad on the ball. Declan Rice isn't bad on the ball. But we haven't got a Kroos or a Gundogan, let's call it that. So where else are we going to have these great passes? Well, Jack Grealish, if he plays on the other side, and I think a lot of people would want him to be included, maybe as a number 10, he likes to stand people up. I think he should be in the team, but he likes to have a go at people. He's not this player that's going to be threading balls through constantly. Yes, when he gets to the edge of the box, but what about from deep? And for me, that's why Foden would be included, because we know Raheem Sterling's not going to be passing the ball on the other side. So how are we going to break on teams? Where is that quality on the ball going to come from? I think you have to include Phil Foden.
So in terms of, if you want Grealish as well, so who's missing out? Is it Mason Mount that's going to be missing out in this game?
I wouldn't play Mason Mount or Ben Chilwell. We know they've had to isolate because of their exposure, if you like, to their Chelsea teammate Billy Gilmour during, at the end of that Scotland game. And if they haven't had that time to work with the team, they haven't been involved in the last game, I just think it's too big a fixture and the opposition is too good to just bring them back in after possibly a day's training and not even full training. So yeah, that would be a huge decision. And Gareth Southgate, like I say, live by the sword, die by the sword. If they're included and England lose, just imagine what the fans and the newspapers will say.
Yeah. Final question for me, just a quick one, is what's your biggest fear with this one? Because the one that pops into my mind when I think about it, I think this is made for Timo Werner to have had the season that he's had, to come off the bench and cause a bit of havoc and score the winner in this. But that's my kind of biggest fear. What's your biggest fear?
Why are you so scared of Timo Werner? I don't know.
Because he's been so poor all season, and I've said that numerous times. So it would just be the perfect revenge for him.
My biggest fear is a repeat of. It's difficult. A repeat of South Africa, I think, is actually what might well play out in my mind, which is Germany batter England in the second half and win 4-1 or 4-2 and score loads of goals at Wembley and run off into the sunset. But come on, I mentioned Euro 96. My biggest fear, getting knocked out on penalties against Germany at Wembley again. I don't even know if I can live with that. I'll be perfectly honest. And Gareth Southgate, having missed the penalty in 96 to then manage the team in a loop. But yeah, I mean, my heart would break for him. So that probably is my worst nightmare. But I think it'll be a great game. I wonder how you think it'll go. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I do think it's going to go to penalties. I really can see that happening. I think we will look to stop them, and I think we will be able to nullify them quite a lot. I think it will be horrible to watch. I think it'll be frustrating, and I don't think it will be kind of considered a good performance by us. But if England get to penalties, then. And we make it through. That's all that matters at this stage. The performances haven't been good, so it is about results. And so I'm going to go England on penalties. Come on. What are you saying?
That's a huge shout. No, I think it will be a really tight game as well. I'd love to say the entertainment factor will be there, but I think these two sides will be very wary of one another. They'll be fearful of being hurt. So early on, it's going to be very, very cagey, low-scoring affair. I'm going to say Germany 1-0.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.